Hi, my name is Colby Klein.
Sedona Wolfram.
Emily Barker.
Yvonne Williams.
And we are.
And we are.
And we are working spoonie.
They're telling me, get back on ground, forget my dreams, just let them drown. But deep inside, a voice is telling me they're wrong. I wanna know that anything is possible if I believe I'm ready for whatever future holds for me. Can't be afraid anymore, I'm getting ready to fly. Wish they could all see me now, 'cause I am breaking out.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is the moment that you all have been waiting for, what I have been talking about in my previous two videos. In this video, I have put together a compilation of interviews that I collected from several service dog handlers who are in the working community, and all of them explain how their disabilities affect their work life, what it's like, you know, either bringing or not bringing their service dog to work with them, some advice to give new handlers. It's a lot of good stuff covered in it, but all in all, I hope you guys enjoy.
Hi, my name is Colby Klein. I'm 19. I'm a in-progress working spoonie, and I suffer from PTSD, borderline, anxiety, and a few other conditions that limit my ability to work without a service dog. The only precautions I can really say I took have to be mentally preparing myself for how everybody was going to act, how they were all going to handle someone working with a service dog. I had to prepare myself after the first few times that I didn't get a call back, that people just don't want to accept it. And it's a fight. It's a really big fight right now. I'm in progress to get a job at Giant, our local grocery store, and it's been 3 months since my interview, and I am still awaiting the final go-ahead about whether I can or cannot bring my service dog, which I will be working without because I need to support both of us, and sometimes you just gotta make the life decisions. Be prepared that not every job is going to be a good fit for you with your service dog. Keep in mind your dog's safety is a top priority and is very important, especially when working, because when you're working, you're focusing on. I am currently in the process of bringing my service dog to my new job. I used to take him to work when I worked at Dollar Tree, so he's very familiar with the register type setting, random people distracting me from my job because they're distracting him from his. Overall, he was very new to his training. I was very new to the community and didn't know a lot, so probably made a bunch of mistakes, but how else am I going to learn? So I can say that it prepared me very well to be able to work with him now. The effect on my work life from my disabilities is few and far between. Bruno helps a good amount with making sure that I am stable, that I prepare myself if an anxiety attack is going to happen. Having borderline means that my moods switch up a lot, and when something goes bad, everything is bad. Doesn't matter if it hasn't been, I will anticipate it to be, and it can affect my ability to return back to work, which is where Bruno provides usually DPT, some tactile stimulation, just to help me be able to hold a job. Yes, people treat me differently. I get, who are you training him for? Can you train my dog? You don't look old enough to have a disability. You're not disabled. Why are you bringing your pet somewhere? And all the other typical things you get. I'm anticipating when I start work at Giant on the busy days that people are just going to pet him or let children pet him, and it's going to impede me from being able to do my job while people are impeding him from being able to do his job. So prepare yourself for those people that just don't respect the do not pet patches, or you're telling them not to pet and they keep doing it. I've had managers pet him while he's on duty, coworkers talk to him while he's on duty, so it's not just the people that you'll be working with if you work in a profession that has customers. Management can be iffy. Not everyone is going to understand what a service dog is for. A lot of people think they're just for blind people or deaf people or people in wheelchairs. People don't understand that if you're not physically disabled or your disabilities are invisible, that you can still benefit from a service dog. So when you have the opportunity, educate. My advice: if you can work without a service dog, try as hard as you can to not have to bring him to work, him or her. Sometimes it's worth more to have them stay at home than it is to bring them. Depends on your job, depends on your lifestyle, depends on your disabilities. Be prepared for those ignorant people that are going to pet them out of nowhere, the people that are going to make rude comments to you, that are going to distract them while they're working, which is going to in turn distract you while you're working. But overall, if you can do it, that's all that matters.
Hi, I'm Emily, and this is my service dog, Tilly. And we're going to answer some interview questions about what it's like to work with a disability. What do I suffer from? I suffer from visual snow syndrome, or VSS, along with sudden onset aura migraines. VSS is so rare that most people don't know about it. I'm 1 in 8,000 that have it in the world. And doctors don't know what causes it, so there's no treatment. What it is there's a misfire in my brain similar to epilepsy, but instead of seizures, I have detached communication between my eyes and my brain. So therefore, I see many different visual phenomenons. I have a lack of vision. And then when you add on the sudden onset aura migraines, the aura migraines take away the little vision that I do have, even though I don't have a headache. Next question is, did you take any special precautions before deciding to look for work, or did you just look for a job like a normal person? I am actually a teacher's assistant. I was already working when I got severely sick. And as long as I'm able to continue to do my job and teach my kids, there's nothing that the school district can do. They can't fire me for being sick. Precaution-wise, though, I had to go through an accommodation plan similar to setting up a 504 and IEP to get Tilly to come in with me. I have everything in enlarged print. A lot of what I do is through audiobooks if I have to do anything for prepping for work. But if I were to go in and look for another job from here on out, I would definitely have to do my research. I wouldn't be able to work in a food establishment, nor would I be comfortable because I can't see well. So, but there are jobs out there that allow it. How does your disability affect your work life? It affects my work life dramatically. Everybody I work with knows I'm sick because I take so many days off for appointments with my specialist, and it's not cool. It's not cool having everybody continuously in your business, and even though they're not getting updates about how my appointments are going or where my vision stands, what my neurologists are saying, they're aware that those are the reasons why I've taken days off work. It affects the atmosphere, especially with having my service dog there with me. A lot of kids are fearful of her, and then a lot of kids are clinging to her to try and pet her. I have a lot of people that talk about me behind my back because they're too scared or timid to come up and ask me in person about what's going on. And there are days that I have to go home because I'll have a sudden episode where my vision will go away completely, and that's not a safe environment for me. So my disability affects it dramatically. Next question is, do I take my service dog to work? Absolutely. The kids love her. There's statistics that say having dogs in classrooms helps students raise their loxia levels and ability to read. It helps them be happier in the classroom. It makes them look forward to coming to school. Do people treat me differently? Absolutely. Like I said, I have people talking behind my back rather than to my face about me, about my service dog. I've only had 1 or 2 people come up and directly ask me what's going on in my life. And I very much value those people because those people had the courage to come up and ask me about something rather than just gossip. What advice would I give to other spoonies about working? Don't give up. In those days that you feel like you can't do it anymore, can't get out of bed, just push yourself to go one more day, just to go a couple more hours, because it's worth it. You might feel better later down the line. I've learned that if I start my day by saying, I don't want to go to work, I don't feel good, then that's my mentality for the rest of the day. I just want to go home. I can't focus. I'll progressively feel worse. But if you wake up in the morning and say, like, you know what, I got this, it's only 8 hours, it's only 6 hours, whatever it might be, then your day's 10 times better. Be patient with yourself, figure out a routine that works for you, and just don't give up. If this job doesn't work for you, then you'll find another job. It's just a job. If you're not happy, then quit it and move on. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
I suffer from narcolepsy. It's a sleep disorder that my dog can alert and respond to. I just kind of did work, like, I started finding a job when I was 16. I work fast food, so I cannot bring my dog with me. But even though I cannot bring my dog to work with me, just because, I work with food and people don't want their food around their dog, or dog hair around their food. I have a lot of restrictions at work. I'm not allowed to leave the main area without telling any of the managers. I'm not allowed to really do much of anything without getting permission first to make sure I'm not going to go somewhere and pass out. All of my coworkers treat me a little different because of it. They worry about me, they care, but they are always watching me, which gets a little creepy sometimes. And they also treat me different when they see me out with Nissa, my dog. And they'll be, because I look pretty healthy, they'll think that she's a fake dog or a fake service dog, or they'll give me grief about it because I'm not visibly disabled. I just kind of look healthy even though I'm not. And so that's something. For other people who have chronic illness that are trying to work, make sure to communicate with your boss, communicate with your managers about what you're going through so that they can better help keep you safe, as well as making sure that you have the accommodations you need. Because if my managers didn't know about this, I probably would have been fired already.
before I get started with my interview. So with me being camera shy and my anxiety being real bad, you guys hear from my videos that I say a lot, I touch my face a lot. Another thing that happens is I try to organize what I'm going to say ahead of time in my head. Unfortunately, it doesn't come out that way. So if my interview is it seems a little bit scattered or unorganized, please bear with me. It's just the way I process stuff. But I'll try to do the best I can for you guys. Hope you enjoy. Williams and I am a working spoonie. I'm also new to the service dog community. The first question I have is, what are some of the disabilities that I face? Some of the disabilities that I suffer from are PTSD, anxiety, restless leg syndrome. I get chronic cluster and tension migraines. And I also suffer from a category in the OCD group, which is overthinking. Question 2, did I take any special precautions before looking for work or seek out accommodations when I got my job? I started working when I was 16. When I first started working, I was already going through therapy, and I was already on medication, so I didn't seek out any accommodations, and it didn't affect my ability to work. The medication, however, did affect just my regular day-to-day. It made me really sluggish and kind of I didn't really want to do anything while I was on the medication. So a few months after I was prescribed it, I stopped taking it, and I started doing research on just, I guess you would call it homeopathic ways to kind of deal with my anxiety and different coping mechanisms and grounding techniques. And for those of you who have anxiety and don't know what grounding techniques are, one of them I use is the counting factor. So basically what it is you count from 5 to 1 and add a sense to each number. So look at 5 things, touch 4 things, smell 3 things, taste 2 things, and so on and so forth. Another trick that I use that I don't recommend to other people because it is kind of a self-harm thing, is that I overthink a lot and it causes me to disassociate. So what I like to do is put rubber bands on my wrist, and if I find myself thinking too much, I just pop it a couple of times, and it kind of helps me refocus. In the field that I am in now, it's the same thing. I didn't look for any special accommodations or anything. I just came in, looked for a job like a regular person. I'm sorry guys, I don't bring my service dog to work with me. Since 90% of what we do is driving, it wouldn't be fair to keep him cooped up in an ambulance all day, first of all. Second of all, we do a lot of psych transfers, and some of those can get a little bit out of hand, and it will put him in danger. So it's best to keep him at home. On top of that, a lot of our patients have allergies, and with my profession, we're trying to promote health, not help deteriorate the person that we're transferring. So I just use whatever techniques I have to help me with my anxiety and with my overthinking, and on top of that, I'm in and out of hospitals all day, so I can get the medical help that I need. My next question was, how does my disability affect my work life? For the most part, it affects, well, the overthinking affects it. So like I said, 90% of what we do is drive. We transport from point A to point B. Some of those transfers can tend to be pretty long. So if I'm having a bad day and I'm experiencing a lot of mini anxiety attacks throughout the day, or if I just, got into an argument or something is having me in just kind of a funky mood, I tend to overthink on that. I tend to just make it more than what it really is. And that causes me to disassociate, and sometimes that happens while I'm driving. So basically what it is and what it feels like is, my brain is kind of just going 100 miles an hour, and I'm looking at myself from the outside. Yeah, it's probably a crappy description, but that's, the best way I can explain it. Another thing that affects me is when I have flare-ups due to my restless leg syndrome. I find myself having to kind of self-massage my legs all day. I have to get out and pace. I can't sit for long periods of time because it doesn't hurt, but it's very uncomfortable. It's like pins and needles going from my knee all the way down to my feet, and the urge to walk all at the same time, and it's just really overwhelming. The next question is, do people treat me differently? Yes, people do treat me differently. Being that I have an invisible disability, I always get, well, you don't look like there's nothing wrong with you, or people just seem to think that I'm overreacting over certain things. It can be the stupidest thing, it could be the smallest thing, and it may seem like an overreaction, but people don't seem to understand that that's the way that my brain is wired. So it may seem like a simple or small situation to a normal person, but for me, it can cause me to have a complete episode. It can cause me to become very angry, and just, blow up more than what it's really supposed to be. And because of that, having disabilities, it becomes really lonely. So one of the main reasons that I'm kind of trying to put this content out there and that I decided to, go this route is to kind of network with people like myself, who understand that I'm not just being a baby and that I can't just shut it off. Advice that I would give to future working spoonies who have not hit the work field yet, or are just coming into the service dog service handler or disabled community. As I said, I am just entering this community myself, so there's not much that I can really give you guys, but what I would suggest is that you be safe first and foremost. I know that I've seen a lot in this community that a lot of people are kind of shut down and have the attitude of my business is my business. When you're going into the working field, you always have to think ahead, especially if you're disabled, because certain disabilities can put you at risk and can be really dangerous if you don't talk to somebody about it and, give them a heads up on what's going on. Like for me, I work with, I used to work with regular partners, and they were aware of, what was going on with me. They knew how to handle me if I ever had an episode. And like I said, on top of that, I'm in and out of hospitals all day. What I would suggest is, even if you don't tell them at the interview, after the interview, let them know what's going on if you need to. I mean, if it doesn't affect your ability to work or your ability to do the job, then by all means, keep it to yourself if that's how you feel. But if you feel that it's going to affect your work because it's going to put you in danger somehow, definitely let somebody know. Once you got the job, I mean, it's kind of a done deal. They can't, dismiss you because of your disability or because of the accommodations that you need. Make sure the job that you're looking for is the right fit of